What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. That's right, it's Sunday, so it's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday. Of course, my weekly countdown show where I take a certain topic and count down 7 things about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Anyways, let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about songs that I used to hate, but now have grown to really like, or in most of these cases, absolutely love. And I look back and I'm like, how did I not see it the first time? Or maybe it was something that's not usually my typical cup of tea, but now it somehow is. That's what we're talking about today on SOS, so I hope you enjoy the video. If you do like it, leave a like on the video. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Let's just get right into it with my number 7 pick, which is from Alt J.
She's morphine, queen of my vaccine, my love, my love, love, love. La la la, muscle and muscle and toe to toe. The fear is gripped me, but here I go. My heart sings as I jump out. Your hand tied as my shot.
Alt J, it's a keyboard command on a Macintosh computer, and that's where they got their band name from. They're from over across the pond, and they have their song Breeze Blocks that we're going to be talking about today. This was the first song that I heard from them, and I wasn't exactly pleased when I first stumbled onto their music. They got played on Alt Nation somewhat regularly. I think they had a couple of other songs that were hits from their first album, An Awesome Wave, as well, but this is the first one that I heard. I saw the music video with it, and while I liked what was going on there, the compelling backwards narrative that the video used, I didn't like the way that the song came to life. In fact, I found their lead singer's voice just abhorrent. I could not get into it whatsoever for the life of me. But the more I heard it, it crept into my mind, even when I wasn't listening to it. That please don't go, I love you so would just pop into the back of my mind, and that guitar and everything about it. And before too long, I would say within like 6 months to a year, I was like a secret lover of the song. Like, this was my guilty pleasure, back when I actually still believed in those. At this point, it's probably no secret that I am a fan of the band. Not their last album, Relaxer, but their actual good material. I'm talking This Is All Yours and An Awesome Wave. Both of those records, very impactful in different ways. And I got into their vocalist just because I learned to appreciate something different. It can seem a little bit artsy, a little bit too classy, like their nose and head are tilted up towards the sun, but they come back down to earth. And if you spend some time with their music, you can see that it's not just all these maps that you're never going to be able to decode. In fact, you can get into their music just if you give them a little bit more of a chance, and maybe if you give your musical boundaries a little bit more of a push. I know that's what worked for me, and in particular for this song, Breeze Blocks. It's the one of the most iconic riffs of the 90s, and I didn't like it at first because this was one of those songs that just felt like it was just pushing in that 90s grungy, just over-the-top flair, and it got played on the radio a lot when I first started getting into music in the mid-2000s. It got played on my local rock station, 106.5 The End, shout out to you guys, but this one in particular always stood in a weird place for me because it would come on and I would want to change the radio station, but I knew that there wasn't anything better on. I mean, there weren't really any other rock stations, so I would listen to it and I would maybe just turn it to a low volume. And for the longest time, I'm talking years, this is just one of those things where I would just kind of like mock the vocals, like breathe in, breathe out. And then I started realizing maybe towards the end of my high school experience, maybe around 2009, 2010, that I was actually a fan of the song. And in fact, I stood up for it when somebody was mocking it one time, and I was like, what has gotten into me? Bush's Machine Head features a very heavy riff, and if you've listened to this band before, you know they do have a diverse sound. They're able to maybe channel slower rock, like on Glycerine, which was on 16 Stone, their album as well, and this one here, Machine Head, is much heavier, and Gavin Rossdale's voice is a little bit buried in the mix, but at the same time, it's put out there to give you that certain style and that certain edge. And I do feel like the song, while a bit cheesy, it holds up to this day. And in fact, I bought 16 Stone on vinyl not too long ago. So yeah, I'm a fan now.
But it's such a real tattoo by now. Sorry, you're not.
like so many others of my time, was a huge fan of MySpace.com. And as with MySpace, you know it goes hand in hand with the scene bands and like the rock bands that were maybe a little bit overproduced sometimes or just a little bit weird, and they would bring in electronic elements into their music. Not that Enter Shikari really did that all that much. I mean, they definitely did on some of their latter albums, but their first one was a little bit more raw, a little bit more hard-hitting. But Enter Shikari were mixed in with that scene. They originally got popularity from the UK, obviously, on MySpace, but it bled into the United States as well. I had a few people that I knew that were kind of into their album Take to the Skies, and they would play this song for me. Sorry, You're Not a Winner. This track was huge for them. It was kind of the one that put them on the radar, and I just did not get the hype. I was like, I'm sorry, what did I miss here? Their lead singer, Rue Reynolds, just sounded like he was like scraping the bottom of a barrel with his voice in the sorry or not part to me originally. I will say that that has obviously changed in my mind over time, but originally that's what it sounded like, and I just wasn't into it, and it just felt so abrupt and like starting, stopping, the guitar would come in, drop, and it was just, I don't know, I didn't get it. I wasn't into that style of music as much at the time, but I was into some hardcore music. This just felt like a little bit different, a little bit more of a raw and unproduced and unfiltered scene, and I grew to appreciate that in years to come. But initially, no, I didn't get it at all.
Watch out, oh watch out, oh watch out, yeah. I smash out, I smash out, I smash out, yeah. I'm spending on my fucking pay. Cigarettes in a hairband, commas in my hair, man. Slummed over like a dead man.
My number 4 pick is going to be a hard pill for some to swallow, but yes, we're taking a look at Post Malone and his track White Iverson, the one that blew up on SoundCloud and the one that got him a record deal. Young Post Malone grew up on more hardcore music. He was a fan of the scene. In fact, he was in a metalcore band, and now at this point you know him for being kind of an eclectic artist that is in hip-hop, but he has other elements to his music as well. And White Iverson was a song that I initially trashed. In fact, I put it in the trash can on my worst songs list a few years back, and I just didn't get the appeal. I was like, this dude looks like a goofball, like he's out here in the desert in his music video rapping about balling and being the White Iverson and all this other stuff. I didn't get it, but as time went on, it slowly itched away at me. I slowly wanted to hear it. It started like when I was drunk, or if I was drinking, I'd be like, all right, I don't mind this too much. In fact, I tweeted years ago and was like, you know, this doesn't actually sound that bad when I'm drunk. Or maybe that was in one of my vlogs. I can't remember. Back when I used to vlog. Yes, I did. The main point is that now I actually do like this song. I won't say that I love it, but I do like this song for what it is. It's just kind of a chill vibe with it, just kind of get into the beat. I like the keys. I do the air keys every single time. It's got a catchy flow about it. Post definitely sounds kind of effervescent here, just kind of gliding along the track, and the beat was perfect for him. And at this point, I can't really deny the fact that yes, I do have this song saved to Spotify. If you're looking for proof that I actually did not like my number 3 pick initially, just sort by oldest to newest on the Beyond ARTV channel and watch my review, my initial thoughts on the track Now by Paramore. This was the first song that they released off of their self-titled album in early 2013, and let me tell you, I was not feeling positively towards this song at all. I trashed the repetitive chorus and the fact that it just had this weird, don't try to take this from me, don't try to take this from me. I didn't like the kind of stretched out vocals that Hayley Williams was doing, and yeah, I was not drawn to it, and fans weren't that happy with me, which, fine, I don't really care about that. Obviously, I'm not going to be influenced by other people, but as I heard the song in the context of the record, something just snapped in my mind and said, Okay, I get it now. I get the fact that this song belongs. I get the fact that this song isn't such an outlier. In fact, it has its place and it has its purpose, and it is quite powerful. Now is by no means the best song in their discography, but let me tell you, this is a grower, not a shower necessarily. Whereas in 2013, I might have been shaking my head and rolling my eyes at Now, in 2018, in present day, aka now, I'm bobbing my head along, singing at the top of my lungs to the chorus when I drive fast in my car. Look, if you don't like my puns, you can leave. Now.
Feel it rushing through you from your head to toe. Oh,
Number 2 comes from our favorite overseas ginger, Ed Sheeran. His track Sing, which was co-written and co-produced with Pharrell Williams. He was producing hits like Happy at the time, and I wasn't exactly happy with the style of songwriting on Sing. I was coming off of Loving Plus for the most part. I mean, at this point, not the biggest fan of that album. It feels a little bit limited in what it has to offer, but some of the upbeat tracks like You Need Me, I Don't Need You, holy shit, they can still be quite flooring. But this track Sing initially struck me the exact wrong way. I hated those basic guitar strums on it, and the and that was really off key, but yeah, now it sounds a lot better in my head. I constantly said how out of place this felt for Ed Sheeran and how it wasn't him and all this other stuff. I rallied against it. I even kind of railed on it in my Multiply review. But after that, it slowly crept up on me. Like, I would occasionally hear it playing out in public, and I would start to just kind of vibe along, maybe play the guitar, and then, you know, as days turned into months, turned into years, it was more like, oh, I would casually start to sing along with it. And then at one point, I actually bought the song as a ringtone, and I just started memorizing parts of the song, and now, yeah, don't even test me on it. I love this track to death. I don't know what I was thinking initially, but this song is straight fire, just like the flames that he saw on the side of the stage.
You get the bag and fumble it, I get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Straight off the lot, 300 cash, and the car came with a blunt in it. Lil' mama a thot, and she got ass, that she gon' fuck up a bag. Pull up to the spot, living too fast, dropping the dope in the stash.
At number 1, we have the most unexpected track for me personally. I know a lot of people already saw the transition and are thinking, seriously, John's a fan of this? I would have never seen this coming, but here's the thing, I am. And I don't know what set it off in my mind, just occasionally hearing it in playlists and that sort of thing. Not playlists that I necessarily follow, just ones that I would check out, and I saw the music video recommended to me many, many, many times. Thank you so much for putting that constantly in my recommended feed for some reason. I don't know why that would be in my recommended, considering I don't spend a lot of time listening to Migos or Gucci Mane, but that got me back into Gucci Mane, and I went back into his discography after hearing I Get the Bag, listening to some of his bigger singles, and I said, you know what? This dude is actually the god of trap right here. It's the trap man, Gucci Mane. This track, I Get the Bag, has a banging beat. I love Gucci on this track. He's not really coming in soon enough. That's my main complaint with this. We have to listen to Migos for a while, and they're more tolerable than usual. I don't mind them whatsoever on this track, but I don't know. It just takes a little bit to actually get to Gucci Mane, but once we do, it's definitely him in his typical manner. Maybe a little bit quieter, a little bit more restrained, but I like that. He fits the vibe of the instrumental, and he gives off a certain allure and a certain class about him. It's Gucci Mane. You know when you're listening to Gucci, and this track is nothing but straight fire. That's it for this episode of 7 on Sunday, guys. Please drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and let me know, what did you think of the list? Did you expect some of these, or maybe some of them came out of left field? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you would like to support the channel and what I do here, not only on Beyond ARTV, but also ARTV as well, then please support me on Patreon at the top link down below. The direct link to my Patreon is right over there in the corner in that annotation there. If you would like to see last week's episode of 7 on Sunday, which was about the Super Bowl, then right over here. If you would like to see another episode, right over here. Social medias can be found in the description, and I'll see you very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.